So I think next we have, is it Andre is next? Do we want to? We are.
Yep. Good morning, Reed. Yeah.
Hey, brother.
I'll share my screen. So this is based on my client. Her name is Putri. She's 26. So the sport that we're going to do is a bikini competition, so bikini bodybuilding competition, right? So she's 26 years old. She's a mother of 7 months old. She's a housewife. She can cook. She has an okay experience in training, so about 2 years of solid weightlifting experience. And she wants to join her first competition in April 2021. So this is going to be her first competition. So, you know, we're not going to come in with like a lot of expectation, but make sure she enjoys it and it fits with her lifestyle and she's not going to get sick or anything like that. All right. So our considerations when we're making the supplementation and the meal plans is that she's healthy, she's getting her regular periods, so nothing extreme, no extreme cardios or crash diets leading up to it, which is like 4 months away, right? It's in April. So make sure she doesn't have any GI issues because she's got some GI issues at the moment. She's not deficient in any vitamins, so you know she's healthy. She doesn't get sick often, and she's meeting her daily calorie intakes and protein targets, and she has optimal energy during training. Right, so this is her stats. So this is based on her measurement in my gym. We've got a BIA, an in-body BIA. So she is 57.8 kilos. She's 168 centimeters. Her lean body mass is 45.5 kilos, and her fat mass is 12.3 kilo, which puts her at a body fat down here of about 21.2%. Right. Okay, so we're going to use them. I'm going to use the Muller formula to calculate her resting, her RMR. So why do I choose the Muller? It's got lean body mass, fat mass, sex, age, but it doesn't have height. So anyway, based on the Muller formula, her BMR is 1494. So if we compare that with the Harris-Benedict, it's a bit different because the Muller takes into account, you know, her lean body mass. So that's her BMR, 1,500. And I'm gonna base it on normal since she's not doing an Ironman or training as hardcore as Anna's client, right? So I'm gonna take 2,000 calories as her BMR per day. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this done in like 10 minutes, okay? Bear with me. So when we're bodybuilding, there's always different stages of training, the strength, hypertrophy, and pre-comp, right? So during strength, we want to gain as much strength as possible. We will gain a bit of body fat. We want to just gain like maybe 1 to 3% body fat. But the main point is gain as much strength as possible and gain as much muscle as possible. The training will be under 5 reps, right? Under 5 reps. So the main energy that's going to be used is the ATP PCR. The gym is not hot. She's not going to be dehydrated, so that's okay. And the primary concern is fatigue management because during strength, yes, you're doing less volume, but you are exciting your CNS a lot more. So she needs to have a good night's sleep. She needs to nap throughout the day. Nutrition has to be on point, and she needs to manage her stress, etc., etc. Okay, during hypertrophy, so as you see, it's like strength is like 2 months, and then hypertrophy is 3 months. So during hypertrophy, we want to start cutting. But we want to start cutting, but we don't want to lose too much muscle mass. And at the beginning of this phase, we want her to be at 21%. So that's the stats. So she should be at 12.3 kilos at the start of hypertrophy. So she doesn't really need to lose a lot of fat. And the hypertrophy training is between 8 to 12 reps. So that's going to require mainly anaerobic glycolysis with some ATP PCR. Primary concern, muscular recovery, basically. It's not going to be that fatiguing. It's going to be tiring, but it's not going to be fatiguing. It's mainly muscular recovery, right? Are we going to do crazy cardio? No, probably just walks is enough. We don't want to lose muscle mass, okay? Right, pre-crump. So this is 1 month out from the competition. we want her body fat to be at around 8 to 13%. So it's not a lot of work. She just needs to lose like about 3-4 kilos, like from her starting weight, right? So we're gonna do mainly 8 to 15, 20 reps. So a lot of volume. So it's mainly gonna be anaerobic and aerobic because of the higher reps that she's gonna be doing. And again, we have to check out for her hormonal conditions and her mental well-being at this stage, because she's not gonna be eating that much and she's going to be pretty fatigued. Okay, all right, let's start with the, I'm going to start with the supplements first, because I'm worried that if you don't start with the supplements, what's going to happen is it's going to be added calories, right? When, like, say we accidentally do not count the calories and she's going to go way overboard. So I'm going to start the presentation with supplements. All right, so what supplements are we going to take? Creatine monohydrate, caffeine, whey, casein, HMB, beta-alanine, fish oil multivitamin, probiotics, and maybe digestive enzymes. All right, calories. During strength, we will start with a 500 surplus in calories. But again, we have to monitor so she doesn't gain too much body fat. So maybe 500 to 300. And then during hypertrophy, we will go on maintenance. But maybe if she needs to lose a lot of fat, we'll just go on 300, 500 calorie deficit. And then during pre-comp, we will see how she's going to be. She'll probably be at, 300, 500 calorie deficit, right? So strength, we're going to go plus 500, hypertrophy minus 300, 500, pre-comp minus 300, 500. All right, so this is the summary, basically, of the supplements. Creatine monohydrate, yes, we will load it in the first week. And the hypertrophy, we're just going to go, we're going to stop at midpoint, because during competition, we don't want to be using creatine because it holds on to water mass. So during the 6 months, you usually need about 6 weeks to clear off creatine. So we're not going to take any chance. We're going to stop at the end of the hypertrophy, as in it's going to be clear by the end of the hypertrophy. So by the pre-comp month, there will not be any supplementation, any additional creatine stores from supplementation. All right, pre-workout, again, we're always going to be using it, but we have to be careful. If we want to be really detailed, then we should look at those pre-workouts without creatine. HMB is optional for me. I think it costs quite a lot where we're at. If she wants to use it, that's okay. If she doesn't, that's okay. She can benefit from it because she's not that experienced. 2 years of experience is not, she's not really, it will have an effect on her. Beta-alanine, definitely yes, especially for the higher reps. Whey protein, I'm going to say yes. And then maybe near the end of the cycle, we will use hydrolyzed, because according to the papers, it helps with fat loss. Casein protein, definitely every night. And fish oil probiotic, multivitamin, glutamine, yes, because it's for general health, right? So how do we use creatine? We load the creatine for 5 days. We'll go with 5 days, 5 grams, what did I write here? All right, 5 grams 4 times daily for 5 days, right? Maintenance, we'll just do 5 grams. We can go with 3 grams because she's small, but there's nothing wrong with doing more, right? So we'll do 5 grams every day for about 2 months and 6 weeks. Let's go. Hey, what? Yep. Right, pre-workout, right? We need caffeine in her pre-workout. So we need something about 175 to 350 grams of caffeine, okay, based on her weight. That's between 3 to 6 grams of protein. We will start with a lower dose to see if she's getting jittery, etc., etc. Creatine, yes, comes with a pre-workout, but again, we will try to change. We might try to change pre-workout. So the pre-workout I would recommend is the gold standard. I've looked at the ingredients. It's got caffeine, creatine, and beta-alanine. That's all we need, right? And you can change to something called Optimum Nutrition, BCA Energy. It has caffeine caffeine, not because of the BCAA, more just it's a caffeine content. It doesn't have the creatine content. All right, that's good. Sports drink, not really, but drink 400, 600 mils per hour if she wants. But my gym is not, it's not too hot. And yes, okay. Next. Beta alanine, 4 to 6 grams a day, standard stuff. We'll always be using it. HMB, about 3 grams a day. It works well if you're taking it before workout. So maybe we could do something like, let's make it 2 servings, 2 grams before gym, 1 gram before sleep, or maybe split it up 3 times a day, 1 grams each. Okay, protein, most important thing for us bodybuilders, 20 grams dosing and 30 to 40 grams dosing per serving of casein. And it should have a 700 to 3,000 gram leucine content. This Alate casein ISO 100, I've checked the labels, they're good, we can use that. 2 more minutes. All right, fish oil, fish oil, glutamine for digestive health. All this we need for general health, right? Omega-3, digestive health, glutamine, and multivitamins. Next. All right, so how is she gonna eat? So we want her to have a high protein intake, right? 2.3 to 3.1 grams. And the fat content should be around 30%. We don't want too high of a fat content. Why? General health, right? And carbs will follow based on protein, the leftover calories from protein and fats. All right, what does it look like? This is what it looks like. So every day she needs about 141 grams from protein, max fat 68, and 218 grams from carbs. So if we total that up, all the calories, that is 2,000 calories, right? That's a maintenance level, and then we can just add fighters. Okay, I will move to my Excel slide. Okay, so food 7 a.m. she trains at 9. 10 o'clock have a wee for fast absorbing. Food again 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and casein at night. So what we can do is we can split the protein, fat, and carbs. We want to have 20, at least 20 grams of protein per meal to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, right? Carbs, fat. So it would look something like this, like 3 eggs, banana, 20 grams of whey, grapes, blah, blah, blah. So what we can do with her is we can give her like a table of the most commonly eaten food, like how much protein, fat, and carbs, and she can just put this in herself. She can cook, so there's not a worry about preparation. She can get it done. So as you can see here, this is like her protein per meal. Did it hit her targets? How much do we have left over? So at the end of the day, you can see if she's had excess protein, excess fat, or excess carbs, right? So yes, timing is very important. So again, why do we need, sorry, I'm going overboard. I'll finish in 2 minutes. All right, so why do we need to eat so frequently? We want her to feel full. So basically the benefits of eating frequently is she's gonna feel more full. She's not gonna be that hungry. I'm not concerned. It says that having more meals improves your lipids, your insulin, blah, blah, blah. I'm not too concerned about that. She's still young, she's pretty healthy. And always have at least 20 grams of protein per meal, right? And also it's protein sparing. So we wanna keep, we wanna have a positive nitrogen balance. That's why we're having frequent meals throughout the day. So say I'm having food every 3 or 4 hours a day, right? We're having protein every 3-4 hours a day. Okay, how is she gonna eat? General recommendations: have as much fruits, all the colors as you can. If she has GERD, maybe focus on FODMAPs, so reduce the red, increase the green, right? And always try to have this mindset of eating vegetables, fruits, grains, proteins, and dairy. Okay, and finally, before comp, water manipulation, the text that they had natural bodybuilding on ISSN is don't dehydrate. And before you go on stage, pump your muscle, light weights, high reps. And also do not cut out carbs, because like it said in the papers that usually people will look fat because they're not having enough carbs, right? So we don't want her to not have any electrolytes during competition. We don't want her to look flat, right? But we can trial run the carb loading during the last stages of her hypertrophy stage training. So it's not going to be on the day. We have a lot of time to experiment. All right, that's it. That was so hard, man. Trying to explain all that in a go. All right, I'm done. Hello?
Okay, I think I'm coming in now. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Again, man, very good. Following up from Anna, that was another great presentation. Clearly, you've got a really good knowledge base of these sports, physique sports, probably more than myself, actually. I learned a few things there. Again, trying to think up some points to actually pull you up on. The two main ones that I would think, and I'm not 100% sold, at least on one, with another one more so. I think so the first one, just with the energy intake and prescriptions, I would have thought that during the strength phase versus the hypertrophy phase, that they would increase calories in the hypertrophy phase to facilitate the hypertrophy itself, and maybe less in the strength phase. But again, like, there's probably more than one way to skin a cat here, and different people probably do it differently. And I know that in physique circles there is some stuff which probably plays out in reality a little bit different to the way that it plays out in the textbooks. But that's something to think about. I've always heard and thought that it would have made more sense to have a little bit more calories in the hypertrophy phase and maybe less in the strength phase. The other one is the creatine supplementation. I would probably advise, and again, like, I mean, I stand to be corrected, but that to just keep the creatine throughout, because as you say, it's like it does hold on to water weight, but the water's kind of in the muscle, probably where you want it to help with muscle fullness and stuff. It was interesting, that Costal study that you referenced there about the carb loading not increasing muscle girth. I'll have to go back and read that stuff, because I mean that's one of the tricks, right? That we would think works. So that's interesting if it doesn't work. But yeah, again, very good, mate. You obviously did a lot of background reading. I like how you use the in-body result to help kind of articulate your points, and also really good to take into consideration the client's lifestyle and the fact that she is has an aptitude for cooking and that sort of stuff, makes things easier. But yeah, calories, creatine, my thoughts. Everything else I think is pretty good.
Yeah. So with the strength, it's, for me, usually it's a lot higher calories, because it's really taxing. I mean, we're just doing squats, deadlifts, bench, row, overhead press, and hip thrust. Just that 3 times a week between 1 to 5 reps. So that's really taxing. With the hypertrophy stage, why I'm not having excess calories is because I'm adding more protein. So I'm gonna have 2 to 3 grams of protein. So that's gonna slow down the we're not gonna lose muscle mass. But then, like, adding calories to build muscle, it's like, well, she does. I don't think she needs to build that much, because it's a bikini. It's not like it's not a bodybuilding, so she can't really be that big. So that's why that's what I was thinking. That's my reasoning behind.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Again, I think there's multiple ways to do it, and also thinking about client training history and stuff. And obviously, we can't get all this across in a short presentation. but I mean, you've probably experienced this. Like people, when they're several years deep, it's like you almost don't need a calorie surplus. Like as long as they're eating maintenance and getting sufficient, sufficient protein, it's more about the training, right? If their training's, if they're progressing in the training, then they're kind of doing fine. I liked your points about with the supplementation. Like I think with these client types, they love supplements, right? So you can err on the side of like some of the ones that you don't think are the mainstays. You can kind of say, well, you know, if you want to use it, you can use it. You know, here's the 3 that I recommend. If you want another 5, here's the kind of second class, and you did that really well, particularly with your comments around the HMB and the different protein types. So yeah, well done. Very good, my friend.
Cool. Thanks, Reed.
All right.